Good morning, everybody in church. Good morning, everyone at home. So this morning we're going to hear about a story from the Bible, and we'll hear it a bit later. But I just wanted to use some of these figures to tell you about the story. And it's about how we serve God and how we care for others. So, the Bible told us that the mother of Zebedee's sons, she came to Jesus with her sons. So here's Jesus, and here's her sons, James and John. And she said, Jesus, can I ask you a favour? Okay, so there's Jesus there. What do you think the favour was? Have you got any idea? No, well, let's find out more. So Jesus said, what is it that you want? And she said, can you grant me that one of my two sons will sit at the right and the left side of you in your kingdom? So, James and John's mum, she wanted Jesus to make James and John his second in command, so that they can rule the world with Jesus. Can you imagine that? You'd have Jesus here on the throne, and James and John on the right and on the left, ruling the world with Jesus. What do you think Jesus will let James and John rule the world with him? Yeah, what would you think? You're right, yeah, well done. And have you any thoughts about why not? It would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? Could you imagine, like I was saying to my children, can you imagine if your mum went up to your teacher and said, hello, can my two children come and sit with you at the teacher's table and teach all the other people, all the other children? That would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? So, but would you like to rule the world with Jesus? Would you like to? Well, the Bible tells us that Jesus said to them, you don't know what you're asking. He said, can you drink from this cup that I'm going to drink from? And what did they answer, do you think, when Jesus said, can you drink from this cup that I'm going to drink from? What do you think he said? Do you think he said yes, or do you think he said no? That's right, he said yes. He said, you can drink from my cup, but to sit at my right and left, it's not for me to say. These places belong to those for whom my Father, so God, has prepared for them. So Jesus said, I can't make that decision. God's decided that. So James and John can't rule the world with him, because God's already decided who's going to rule the world with Jesus. So they couldn't sit there. Now, if you were these other 10 disciples here, and you just heard that James and John were asking to rule the world with Jesus, how would you feel towards James and John? Yeah, how would you feel? Angry, absolutely, yeah. Just like if there were two children that were sitting next to your teacher and they said, we're going to boss over you, we're going to tell you what to do, you'd feel angry. Yeah, would you feel anything else? Just angry. So when they heard about this, when these other disciples heard about this, they were angry. And the word that they say in the Bible was they were indignant. So they were really cross, they were really angry with the two brothers. And they were mad at them because they said that's not fair for them to ask to rule the world with Jesus and not let us rule the world with Jesus too. So he called them all together. So they're all sitting here together with their drink. And he said to them, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles," so they were the other people, "they boss over them." So the Gentiles were people who didn't believe in Jesus. And he said, these rulers, they boss over them, and they've got these people who have power as well that they called high officials. And he said, they all boss over the other people. But he said, this isn't how we work. This isn't the same for us. Instead, whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be the first must be your slave. So when they use the word servant and slave, they mean that everybody's working together. Yep, so everybody's equal, not necessarily in the way that we think of servants or slaves nowadays, but they're all equal. So what does Jesus say you have to do to be great? What do you think? What was Jesus' message here? What do you have to do to be great? He says you have to serve other people. So that means really that we have to help people. And if we help people, God will think that you're great. He doesn't care about how much power you have. He cares about whether you're helping other people or not. So he doesn't care if you're the prefect. He'd be very proud, I'm sure. But what he cares more about is whether you're helping other people or not. So the Bible said, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life for a ransom for many. So he gave his life for us that we can help other people. So he came to serve people, and he was God's son, and he was part of God himself. He's the king of the whole world and the whole universe. But Jesus didn't want people to serve him or give him power. Instead, he wanted to serve other people. And that's what Jesus wants us to do too. If Jesus can serve other people, even though he was so great, we can serve and help other people too. And we don't have to worry about making other people think that we're great or that we're powerful or anything like that. Because the most important thing is helping other people. And if we can help other people, then God will think we're great. Thank you for listening.